Commander Tyrion.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
Yes, my lord. Blast him!
Season 8 was a thing that existed. With the gang going over the wall, I kind of expected we wouldn't get the satisfying grand conclusion to this epic tale, but wow.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
Yeah, so here we are. Game of Thrones will be looked back on just like the Hindenburg. Nobody remembers the big floating marvel of human engineering. All anyone remembers is...
How does it feel to have lived long enough to see all of your favorite franchises go down in flames?
Feels great.
Season 8's writing failed in literally every way. Pacing, dialogue, consistency, preventing me from pouring rum into my drink just to get through the last few episodes. Other channels will focus on that part of the writing as the internet dissects this season over the next few months. I just want to talk about the ending of the show. The new state of the world that was decided as a good conclusion to the series. Now, I don't do videos like this, but my god, one scene, the council meeting in the Dragon Pit, that broke me. Bran becomes king. Future kings will be elected in a vote by the richest, most powerful lords of Westeros. The North becomes its own separate kingdom. All of this is meant to be a good thing, and in no way will it ever backfire. Bran is king, the wheel is broken, and everything is fixed. This is what I think the ending was meant to symbolize from the writer's standpoint. Tyrion is supposed to be the smartest character of them all, so as a person of intelligence, he comes up with a solution that resolves all conflict in Westeros. The main cause of the last 8 years of war was lineage. So just remove the birthright and problem solved. Yay, why didn't we think of this before? Just have the most powerful lords of all the now 6 kingdoms, all with different motivations, decide who should be king. They can even nominate themselves. What could go wrong? Tyrion, the man who spent his entire life seeing the dealings and political backstabbings of Westerosi lords, thought it'd be a great idea to let them decide amongst themselves who becomes king.
Tyrion is smart, but I guess not that smart.
I was originally going to bring up historical precedent for why this is a bad idea, but you know what? I don't even think I have to. By their own rules that Westeros has operated off of, and simply common sense, this should be seen as a horrendous idea. First, Bran himself. Who would follow Bran the Broken? Who would even know who he is? Is it even common knowledge that he has psychic powers? Would people in the South even know this? Because to them, all they saw was Cersei on the throne get obliterated by Dany, and then some unrelated kid be nominated by Dragon Hitler's former hand. That certainly wouldn't stand. But we're stuck with this voting system now, so great. Democracy. Kinda. I guess. D&D really did just forget the rest of Westeros other than King's Landing in Winterfell. Bronn becoming Lord of the Reach is the most hilarious and depressing outcome of all of this. Bronn, the sellsword, who doesn't even have a last name, now controls the most populous region in Westeros, surpassing the minor houses who have ruled in the Reach for thousands of years. Yeah, okay. So just cause it's funny and I hate myself, let's say Bronn remains in power in the Reach. His house is now the equivalent of House Tyrell.
You see, I'd never seen the poison work before. Tell Cersei. I wanted to know it was me.
Break on.
Dick on.
What's to stop the larger kingdoms, like the Reach, now ruled by, let's call it, House Blackwater, from pushing their political might on the smaller kingdoms, like the Stormlands or Westerlands, in their favor? They control a lot of resources. The Reach supplies most of the other kingdoms with wheat, wine, and livestock. Might be a bit inconvenient for a hungry population if that supply was just to stop because a certain lord didn't vote for House Blackwater. It isn't even just the Reach. Any large kingdom only has one simple step in their way to gain absolute power. 4 votes and you're king. If a lord wasn't powerful enough to get votes, he'd certainly support a lord from a house he's allied with. Political marriages, already very important, are now the best ticket to potentially getting on the throne. Every time a king is now on the brink of death, the lords of Westeros will compete against one another to make sure they, or at least an ally with their interest, get onto the throne. What a stable system that certainly won't descend into war every human lifetime. Not like we'd really need to worry about that because... You know what really sets a good precedent? Allowing the North to become a separate kingdom in front of 2 other kingdoms who have a history of rebelling. Yara was promised that the Iron Islands would become independent by Dany, yet doesn't even bring it up. Okay. Honestly, there probably isn't a lot that could be changed about the final episode. It was the victim and culmination of 2 rushed seasons. The main thing I would change if I was plopped in the writing room for the final episode is don't have the election idea be suggested by Tyrion. His entire character is being in the mud of King's Landing politics. He knows what lords are like and what they'll do to obtain power. Never would he have given this as a solution. Everything else, fine, I guess. Any plot point works if given enough time to be fleshed out. Bran becoming king, in concept, could work if developed more. Perhaps a council choosing the next king might work if fleshed out more. That'd need a lot more time to be convincing. But that's all what could have been. If we only had 6 episodes to wrap this up, it might as well have just ended like this.
All right, Sonny, that's enough. Just pack that in.